Try this again. Okay, can y'all hear me? Yeah. Man, they're like my kids. Welcome. What an awesome turnout. Last time I presented at Cali, I guess year before last, 3 people showed up. So this is cool. 2 of them work with me, and 1 of them is my mom. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'd love to say it was because of this topic. I realized that you guys just really hate the group. I'll never get you here. I'm Sid Beckman. I'm from the Duncan School of Law. If you haven't heard of us, it's because we don't exist. It's true. We will exist soon, though. August 15th, first class of kids comes in. So we're a startup school. That means we get to make all the mistakes. We're also a high-tech school, so that's kind of cool. Technology, I love technology. I'm the dean of the law school, and they picked me because we had this big hat, and I'll put our name in it. So that's me. But I do love technology, and I've used it as part of the paradigm. So technology is integral. So some of the things we've talked about, and you've heard about, how do you get faculty to buy in? I don't hire you. It's that simple. You don't use technology? See it. Go someplace else. That's it. Part of it. Part of our mission. Part of everything we do. So if you love technology, there's no greater place to teach. If you hate technology, there's probably not a worse place to teach. I mean, it's kind of what we do. So technology is integrated in everything we do every single day by mandate. So that's cool, though, because if you buy into it, man, you get excited about it. And that's what what we're building. Let me tell you, I love speaking early in the conference, and that's great. John West here, did he leave? I guess he has every gadget known to me. So it's great because then I can get rid of the monkey suit and just kind of enjoy the conference. The bad part is it's after lunch, we're going to all go to sleep. But that's okay. We're going to talk about some really cool gadgets, I think. I'd love to take credit for the idea behind this speech. I stole it. I saw some lawyers present at a CLE, and I thought, man, that's really kind of a cool idea. And they called it 60 gadgets in 60 minutes. I thought that's really cool. So I sat there. The problem was they had like 9 smartphones and 5 flashes. It wasn't 60 gadgets. I mean, that was cheap. So I renamed it. 55 gadgets and more other stuff in 55 minutes. So you get a little early. How's that? Let me tell you, I guess this is going to be available to everybody via media site, which is great. But if you want me to email you the presentation, that's my email address. Feel free to email me, and I'll send it to you. No big deal. So, because some of this stuff, I didn't give you all the websites and all that. Actually, I didn't know they were going to report on media sites. That's why I didn't do that. I would have done that. But, to find all this stuff. But this is really supposed to be fun, exciting. It's just cool stuff. If you're into gadgets, and most people at this conference are into gadgets, then you're going to love this kind of stuff. Some of this stuff, no, I'm not going to kid you. You're like, well, I know about that. But not everything you're going to know about, see? So there's going to be somebody that doesn't really. So that's really, you're going to take something, hopefully, away from this. I learn about new gadgets every day. I just learned about one. I was in the dealer's room. I've been giving away the little flash drive with the push buttons. Hadn't seen that one. Seen everything else. I hadn't seen one. That's a pretty cool gadget. Opposite. Right? Hadn't seen that. Cool gadget. It's not in my presentation. Didn't know about it. So let's talk about some gadgets, and these are in no particular order. Sorry. 1, slide dial. Anybody ever heard of slide dial? Kind of cool. You call a number via slide dial, go straight to their voicemail. You don't want to talk to somebody? How cool is that?
That's worth the price of admission right there.
Yes. It's like the dean called me. Gotta call him back. Slide dial. Straight to voicemail. It works. It works. I'm here to tell you. Greatest thing. How about this, okay? Forget school for a minute. Mother-in-law. Straight to voicemail. I called her, honey. I did. Voicemail. My wife doesn't know about slide dial. My librarian just walked in. Don't you tell her. Really cool. It's free. It's the coolest thing. Call a number, and the number goes straight to their voicemail. Don't know how they do that, but anyway, slide dial. Love it. Okay. Netbook. Now, probably everybody's heard of a netbook. Folks, if you don't have a netbook, oh my gosh, I don't travel with anything anymore except my netbook. There's nothing I haven't been able to run on my. Now, granted, I don't do a whole bunch of, all of my CAD stuff. I do on my home computer. But you ever tried to run AutoCAD? That's a nightmare. This presentation's running off my little netbook. I even upgraded the memory. It was $11. They're cheap, they're easy, and they're lightweight. I got so sick of lugging a big old computer. The netbook is the way to go. Little, it fits on it. Get in it, and they're so cheap.
Tell me where to buy them.
Well, his family is Gordon Russell, Associate Director of the Law Library. His family, you got 4 of them, right? Through Woot.com. Y'all familiar with Woot? Woot, very cool. New gadgets every day, cheap price. Woot, $169, $149. Wow. Woot, WOOT.com. It's a different product every day, and they sell out. So, I mean, there are people, and they run all their statistics. It's funny. You can check it at midnight. And I got on one day, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, sold out, or whatever it was. Dyson vacuum, $150. Bought one. Yeah. I bought a digital frame. The cheapest you could find this particular frame anywhere online was $90, $40, Woot.com. Perfect, brand new, Woot.com. That also, the price of admission, right there.
That's worth it. Everything else, yeah, that's worth it.
Hey, no, hey. Okay, so, netbook, get a netbook. You get them cheap, and they're great. There's tons of them, and I'm not promoting each one. I see an MSI, that's what I use. But there's lots of them out there. They're all good. Look at them, play with them, go someplace with them. They're wonderful. Get a netbook. Okay. Now, most of you are going to look at this and say, why is that even up there? Let me tell you why it's up there. When's the last time somebody in this room used the current version of Messenger? Come on. All right. You guys wouldn't believe what they've done. Here's what Microsoft does, which doesn't make any sense to me. If you get a brand new copy of whatever, it doesn't have the newest version of Messenger. That thing, you can share documents. You can collaborate on documents. We're going to use this for online office hours. All of my students are going to have laptops with built-in webcams. All of my faculty, laptops, built-in webcams. You got office hours, you want to sit at home, have office hours, sit at home, that pops up, they call you, boom, you talk. Well, let's talk about the paper you wrote. You bring up the paper, you're both looking at it at the same time. You can collaborate. I've been using it with my CIO, just playing with it, and it's great. But you have to download the current version because they don't bundle that with their distributions of their operating systems. It's an old version. It is really slick. Somebody back there uses it, right?
Yes.
You like it?
Love it. We collaborate with it. We also use the live match, which comes with Messenger.
And it's free.
Yes.
It's free. So try it. Download Messenger. You'd be amazed. SugarSync. Oh, there's lots of them out there. This is just one. It's an automatic real-time backup of your files. Okay? Okay. Any IT people in here? Who are the IT people? All right. Keep your hand raised if your faculty regularly back up their stuff. You back it up for them.
We harass them, and that's the only
Get her name and they need to hire her.
Yeah, no kidding. Want a job? Let me tell you. It's awful. It's not awful till they lose something, right? And then, of course, the world has come to an end. The world's come to an end. So get them to use something like this. There's so many backup options out there. They don't do it. You got to get them to do it. Yeah.
Is there a cost?
Yeah. If I don't have the big old, it's a cost. And sugar seems pretty expensive, but inexpensive. There's obviously also a free one that I just read about, and I can't remember the name of it. There's tons of them out there. But you know, they have different. There is a free version of SugarSync, but it doesn't have the. It's not as robust as the paid version. So there's all kinds of things you can do. Smartphone. Okay, get smartphone. Faculty need smartphone. I just there's all kinds out there. I just found out. I was talking to somebody yesterday. You know, they came out with the new iPhone. So the old iPhones are $99. Wow, it's a data plan that kills you. They're starting to figure it out, right? It's like ink and printers. Here's the printer, $50. Goes all this stuff. Well, the ink's $800. Yeah.
The data plan, unlimited enterprise data, $36 a month.
There
You
you
can get the 450 minutes for like $10.
See, so it's starting to come down. Of course, did you also read in the Wall Street Journal, the article that was yesterday, AT&T system is so overbogged now. They're having all kinds of speed issues because of the iPhone user. So, you know, it's a trade-off. And somebody told me, weren't they supposed to introduce 4G like a year ago. What happened to that? Really? Okay, smartphone. 7-zip. It's free. Does all your zipping, and it's one of the most robust as far as compatibility. You don't need WinRAR or WinZip or anything. It does it all, and it does it really, really well and very compact. I see some heads, some 7-zip users in here. Yeah. Okay. It's portable. That's right. Great. It's a great little program. I had not heard of it before. It's great. Great program. So now I use 7-zip, and it's of course free. You like that? Free. There's different programs out there, but this is actually pretty nice, and this is relatively speaking cheap. It's about $100 a license per computer, and it's a video conferencing software that you can tie into a regular Polycom system. You can video conference with each other, so it's more robust than Messenger, but it also lets you tie in, so you can tie into your video conferencing rooms at your law school, things like that. A nice little system. We use it. I wasn't familiar with it until my CIO showed me, and it's a nice little robust system. And Polycom, as you know, they're a big video conferencing outfit, so it ties into all their systems. This is just a software piece. Yes, sir.
Do you have any issues with lag or syncing or anything?
Depends on where you are, and obviously what size pipe you are.
Right.
You know, I mean, it depends on your pipe. If you have a big enough pipe, you don't. So it just depends. But the reality is, you're probably going to have a little lag if you're far enough away. So yeah. But you can control some of that. But I don't think there's any way around that until we have these mega pipes that we don't have. Yes, ma'am.
Does it work with Vista yet?
I-
Last time I tried.
I don't honestly know, because we are an XP institution. And as far as I'm concerned, we will never have Vista on a machine. So I honestly don't know the answer. 7, which is already in release client, should be out, what, July 22nd or something? They moved it up, something like that. It's not. No, I thought they moved it up to July, didn't they? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. I think July 22nd. But with Microsoft and Vaporware, you never know. We may not see it for 10. But, so I don't know the answer. But I'd wait till 7 anyway. The people that beta tested it, I haven't actually wanted to put it on the machine yet. I've beta too many of their products. And, but it's gotten good reviews. So those of you who followed it, 7's got pretty good reviews. Mousecaster. Okay, this is kind of goofy. We got a few goofy things here. This is kind of, it's a mouse. It's a physical device. They play the radio with your mouse. I just on a radio, plays it through your speakers. Kind of cool. So yeah, I know the mouse runs it anyway. So auto hotkey. It's free. You can automate some of those things. And let me tell you the benefit of this. If you have a task, I drive me crazy moving around. Sorry, that's just if you have a faculty member and you do something that's repetitive and requiring 37 steps, and they get lost or they forget or they want to just create a hotkey. And so these have been around forever. I mean, I remember we had little hotkey automation programs. Are there any really old schoolers? Remember the Trash 80? Remember those? The Radio Shack? Okay, yeah, I had Trash 80. I mean, they were hotkey programs for the Trash 80. So they've been around forever, but they don't seem to be real popular. They're great for automating tasks that we send, 14 steps, make it 1. So, auto hotkey. Everybody know Pandora? Okay, so I have to talk about Pandora. Isn't that the coolest thing? It really is the coolest thing. Woohoo! Now, I use it to demonstrate my classrooms. So when we're coming in there and to show how robust the sound system is, I use Pandora. I think it's great. Free radio. I mean, it's what it is. You can't control it, but you can manipulate it a little bit. But it's free. Create an account. Create your kind of cool. Okay. Just kind of a goofy thing. Anybody remember Torch Remover? Yeah, you take a picture, you run it through this, and it'll actually remove it. It's free. Yeah, Torch Remover. It actually does a pretty good job. It's amazing what it does. Torch Remover. You can upload photos that will remove the torch. So, I mean, what'd you think you were going to get here? Really? You want me to talk about Drupal? So, okay, let's talk about this for a minute. I got to tell you something. I have, the super expensive Acrobat. In Acrobat, it will convert documents to Word. You have whatever the edition I have. That's part of built in. Okay, so I did this just a week ago. I scanned a document through our multifunction system. Goes into my computer, right? Scans it. And I used Acrobat to convert it. And I used some other programs to convert it. Every one of them that came out, it was such a disaster. This was flawless, perfect, and free. It's really complex, too. You got 3 steps, right? You upload. That's one. You pick DOC or RTF, and you give them an email address, and you're done. That's it. And it was perfect, and it was free. Yes, sir.
It keeps formats the same way.
Exactly. It looked like the original document, and I was floored. Yes, ma'am.
The one thing you've got to remember is sometimes documents take longer than others. I mean, we've had documents come in 5 minutes later. We've also had them come in 4 to 5 hours.
Well, and that's a great point. Let me tell you what happened to me. Mine was full of graphics, and I thought it didn't work. And I did it early afternoon, about midnight. I got the document, but it was perfect. I don't care. You know how much time I saved compared to the Acrobat one was just awful. And I thought, oh man, and it's perfect. I don't know what it does, but it's genius.
The name of the program is PDF to Word. That's the name of the.
Yeah, and you go look PDF to Word, you'll see that came, that was a snapshot of the screen. And I'll give you, if you email me, I'll give you the web address. It was perfect. I don't get it. I don't get it. I've never been so impressed with something. It was so easy, so quick and free. When you can buy it, a program, it'll do for $30, it'll do a lousy job. Or you can use this for free. Let's see, that's kind of a no-brainer to me. PDF to Word, you'll love it. And it's in beta. I can't imagine when it's actually released. This is kind of cool. It's a phone with a projector built in. And it does a pretty good job. And, so if you give a lot of presentations and you're going around and you want to, I don't know that I'd ever combine the two, but hey, it's a smartphone. It does all your cool stuff, and that was a projector. Nobody's excited. Okay. Twitter. We've been talking about Twitter like crazy. There's also Yammer, which is like a Twitter. But here's the thing. Don't dismiss Twitter. We haven't figured out the application, how we use it. I'm not sure what the answer to that is yet. But this article just came out. No, I didn't write it. But if you Google that, that's actually the name of the article. And I can't remember who wrote it. Do you remember who wrote it? But it talks about different ways to use it in a college classroom. And, it's sort of trying to reach our students. So think about how we can use these technologies. And one of the things that I think we have to do is we have to collaborate on how to do it. What works, what doesn't work. Talk about it. Get a dialogue going so we can figure out the best way to make it work. So Twitter, Yammer, use it, play with it. It may really. This is actually a recovery piece of software. They have a lot of commercial pieces, but this piece is free to recover deleted items. So it's kind of nice. You can actually download this, and it'll recover deleted Outlook items. So when your faculty screaming, I can't get it back. If it's on a network and it's even gone off it, if it can find it on the network, it'll recover it. So it's really pretty robust. It's a free client. And of course, they do that because they want you to buy all their stuff. But you don't have to buy all their stuff. You can download that. It's free and use it. Recovery Advantage. There's other ones out there, but that one's got good reviews. It works well. It's got good support. So something.
Does it have to be pre-installed before the deletion?
No, it does not have to be pre-installed before the deletion. No. Like the old time where it keeps track. No, it's not that. This is actually a company. This is just one product. But they have some pretty good charging products, Spend time in the sun. This is their little briefcase. They have backpacks. They have all kinds of stuff. Now you can charge everything just out in the sun. And since we've got to charge stuff like crazy, it's kind of neat. It's a gadget. It's a gadget. It's not a cool gadget. This is actually pretty amazing. Yeah, see? Anybody familiar with this product? Yeah. You bought one, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Pretty cool. can record stuff, you know, on the fly. They have a couple of versions. They have an SD version, they have an HD version. This is the HD version. They're less than $200 now for an hour of high-def video, and the thing is this big. Right? So we got some users in here. Anybody problem? Hey, got one. See? What? Okay, so it's limited. In other words,
This is
8 gig for the. Is that the HD version?
Yeah.
Okay. You pretty happy with it?
I'm just testing it out.
Okay.
It's great so far.
I was gonna add something.
Yeah.
We ordered a competitor, I think it was Bravado, but we bought like 2 of them. We've been giving them to students who want to practice like their
Yeah.
stuff, and you know they can take it and launch their stuff back, and we don't have to worry about proper review. They can just use it, they check it out.
Right. And that's Gordon's idea, right? Goodness sakes.
I teach an interviewing negotiated counseling class, so I have the students have to do an interview with a client. And it's supposed to be 60 minutes, so I'll just take it out from the library, put it up, catch them, download it on the computer, and then we can send it back to you with the comments and that computer.
Yeah, it's got a little tripod place for it. So you can set it up. It's small, it's portable. You know, there's other ones out there. Kodak's $140.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the memory on that? High def?
Yes, and you can get into the SD card.
Oh, that's great. Great. Standard SD card. So Kodak's an option too. Whatever you use, I think it's a cool gadget. And I think that is a, you know, we're encouraging video. We're recording every single class, everything that happens. And this just helps proliferate that so that students do it too. So I think it's nice. Of course, you never know what you're going to get. But
The Flip also makes it Ultra HD. It's fairly limited, it's 2 hours.
oh, okay. All right. What's the cost on their Ultra HD?
They double length as well.
Oh, okay. What's the cost on that one? You know, same price.
They will.
Wonderful. Okay, so have you seen this? This is kind of cool. It's a power mat. It's wireless recharging. Wireless recharging. And this technology's been around forever, right? Anybody with an electric toothbrush that does the wireless, you know what I'm talking about? You don't plug it in, it charges itself. You just spit it in the stand. There's no actual physical. Same concept. What you do is you buy this mat, and then you buy modules for whatever you want to recharge. You plug it in there. All you do is throw it on the mat, and it recharges. No plug it in, nothing like that. Pretty cool little device. And so all you got to do is buy the little modules. They have different size mats, things like that. Power mat, kind of cool.
Canadian
I hope it's not. No. One's Canadian, so I think I honestly don't know if it's Canadian. I just don't know. It very well could be. So I think that's a neat product. Just, you know, if you travel a lot, you need to put your iPhone so you can watch, you know, whatever, the Italian Job. Stands. You know, make your life easy. Push it and carry the stands. Okay, we've been talking about it. We all want to win it, right? I have a Kindle. I have a Kindle 1. Kindle 2 is much nicer. But I have a Kindle 1, and I love it. I love it. And I read books like crazy on it. And when you get to be like I am, which I'm really blind, I have these contacts, and my contacts are this thick. Okay? So that tells you something. And what's nice about the Kindle is, you know, you can crank the font up. And I crank it up, baby. So I can sit there and read it, you know. And my CI was next to me on the plane flying down here, and he wanted to read this article. It was the New York Times. I was talking about that. You know, I decided I wanted to read the Times. So we turn it on, download the Times. Cost me 75 cents. Good to go. Right. And so he wanted to read it. And he didn't have to pull out his reading glasses. And he knew he wanted the Kindle. So it's great. But what's nice is the convenience. You pack everything in there you want. It doesn't matter what you're putting in it. You just pack it. You know, there's a card slot in the back, so you can pack that card slot with all kinds of stuff. And here's the coolest part to me. This is what I really like. You know, you could go to a bookstore. If you're the kind of person who likes to browse bookstores, and I like to browse bookstores, so I go to the bookstore and say, I'm interested in that one, I'm interested in that one. I'll go home. And then what I'll do is I go on my computer, and you can send your Kindle a sample. And then read it, and if you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, no. Now that's cool. I don't have to look for a place. Don't leave, I get better. Jokes don't get any better, but it's nice because then you can carry these samples around with it, and you can even browse on your Kindle. You know, okay, I'm interested in that, I'm interested in that. Some book just came out by Dean Koontz. I'm like, oh, okay, let me see. I like some of this stuff, not all this stuff. So I downloaded the sample. She's like, nah, I don't read it. See, I like it. I save myself money. Plus, everything's cheaper on the Kindle. You know, and even old books, you get old books. Thanks for coming back. I've really heard it. But you know, it's really I'm a believer of the Kindle. Now, there's no ebook readers, and you know, I'm not promoting one over the other. But Bezos does civic. No. Seriously, it's a good product. I'm really happy with it. The one on the left, I had to put that up because that's mine. It's the old one. The new one's on the right. Now they have the DX for reading newspapers. I think they're this big, so they're hard to carry around. But you know, you don't have to unfold it that way. But it's really cool. Kindle's really neat. They've really done a good job of making it. And it really, if you haven't looked at one, you know, John's got his. I got mine. Not with me, but I'll be glad to go get it. It's in the car. Look at it. It's like reading off a piece of paper. It really is. Just. They don't tell you what the font size is. I think it's more on the 2. On mine, it looks like it's probably about 18. I mean, it's big. And I think there's more sizes on the Kindle too, but I'm not sure. I don't want to actually touch one.
Yeah.
If you already have digital subscriptions to newspapers, can you read them on any Kindle?
Well, let me put it to you this way. I don't know. I'll tell you this. There is a browser in the Kindle that's not great, but it's there. By the way, and I just read this. How many of you own Kindles? Did you know there's all kinds of Easter eggs in the Kindle? Tons of them. I didn't know that. Anyway, like Google Maps, you can get on Kindle. But you might be able to, like, PDF it. PDF is actually a native in the 2. If it's in a 1, it's a disaster. Take it from me. But in the 2, it's native, so it can read PDFs better. So you might be able to do that. But it's easier just to subscribe to the Kindle version. I mean, it's designed real easy, real nice to use. That would be my suggestion. But I can't give you an honest and fair answer. No questions about it. I mean, I'm telling you, if you win it, you know, maybe we could cut a deal. I dictate. You know, it's an easy way to dictate. That just reminds me, I left something out of my presentation. I shouldn't have. Jot. You know, familiar with Jot? Jot's really cool. You know, you can call, leave a message, it gets sent through an email. Very cool, very functional. It's also free, J-O-T-T. JOTT.com. I forgot, I just left it out. Jot, very cool tool. You're riding down the road, you've got to send a message. They changed it?
But it's like $3 a month.
Okay.
You can also post things to your Google Calendar and a ton of other things.
Oh, wow. See, I always used it when it was free. I used it a lot, but so that's good enough. It's not free anymore. But it really is, you know, you're driving on the road, you got to send an email. You just call. Good to go. You can set up your directories. It was very nice. I guess the free version was nice, but even at $3 a month, that's pretty worthwhile for this kind of thing. I dictate. It's also not free, but it's actually pretty inexpensive. They charge you by the word. You dictate and transcribe it. There's different structures. It's about I think it's 1.2 cents a word for something. If it's legal, it's 1.5 cents a word. If it's multiple speakers, it's 2 cents a word. It's all on their website. They disclose everything. You can subscribe. You never have to use it. You use it, you get paid for it. It says something. So I dictate. I just put this up there because if you don't know about it, you should. I mean, really. Right? It's got, you know, latest and greatest videos. Pretty cool. You know who owns Hulu? No. NBC. NBC owns Hulu. Lots of good shows on Hulu. It's great for if you want to capture stuff and show it in the classroom. Of course, assuming, of course, that you comply with all the necessary licensing agreements. This is just kind of a cool gadget. You familiar with this gadget? Virtual keyboard, right? It stands up there. Okay. It shoots a laser, and you just tap and turn any surface you want into a keyboard. If you go, this idea is not necessarily new. Microsoft has been playing with something for a long time. Where if you go, I visited Microsoft and saw this. It's kind of cool. They have like this smart house of the future. You go into the kitchen, right? And you can go in, and I think this is voice controlled, but go in and say, you know, I need a recipe for a bun cake, and then it projects it down onto your surface, so you don't have to worry about getting your recipe messed up. And then you can control things with sort of virtual touch panels and stuff like that. So they've been playing with it, but there you can own it. virtual Bluetooth virtual keyboard. Talks to your computer via Bluetooth. Kind of cool. And gadget. You know, this is one of those things. I tell you how I use this. I actually use this product. I find people have already done animations and paid for them, and then I use them trying to fit them if I can fit them into a lecture somewhere. But this is really primarily for lawyers, but it's just so cool where they do digital animation of events. They have all kinds of stuff. This one is on their website, and it's neat. This is the plane that lands in the Hudson. If you go to Scene Systems, you can see an animation of the plane landing in the Hudson. What happens? The whole thing. Kind of cool. So if you could find animations out there that fit something for the classroom model, because a lot of lawyers use this for massive litigation. Once the case is done, they've already paid for it. You can get those animations, and sometimes you'll find them posted places. You could use those in the classroom to help teach something for a teaching point. They use a lot of video in teaching, and this is a great way to do that, particularly if you know something like that. So if you were going to talk about that, maybe you were teaching something related to aviation law, you might have some teaching point where you could use it. So Scene System, need to get on there and see what they got. G Drive. Everybody familiar with what they used to call G Drive, or they were talking about what was going to be G Drive? They never actually dubbed it G Drive. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody, I'll move on. You guys just see that lunch kicking in. Did everybody have turkey or what? You know? This is Google. It's not really G Drive. It's Google. What Google has done, if you have a Gmail account or a Google account, you go on and you can actually pay for more storage. But here's the difference. They give you about 750 meg free right now with the Gmail account. This is storage you can use for anything, anywhere. So now you've created a virtual drive on Google's network that you can access anywhere. The rates are relatively inexpensive. 10 gig is $20 a year. 400 gigs, $500 a year. I'm sure those prices, we'll see those prices come down, but you can just log into your account, upgrade, and you're good to go. And then you basically get a virtual drive anywhere you are through Google. And they launched it some time ago. Didn't have a lot of fanfare, but in the old rags, if you read them, call them rags, I mean, read some of the actual paper, right? They were talking about G Drive. That's what it was. And it's active right now. You can get on log on your account right now, and you can actually upgrade right now. So, page storage. I could dance, but you can do that. Broadband travel router. Man, I mean, nowadays you still go into these hotel rooms. This is what I can't figure out. You know, you go into a Howard Johnson, and it's free Wi-Fi anywhere you want. You go into a Marriott, and you're paying $500 a night per room, and then you got to pay extra for wired access to the internet. What am I missing? So, and they're still all over the place. I mean, major nice hotel chains will not give you free wireless or any wireless. And so these become really nice. You plug in a travel router, you still have to pay for it or whatever, but you plug in, hook up, and then you can sit on your bed or do whatever, and you have a broadband travel router. So they're kind of nice, and now they're getting really cheap. And they start out for about $100. I saw a bunch for $40. Yeah, they're getting really cheap. So, and they're small. They're little. You can't tell from the picture, but they're really tiny. So they're nice. Usually they're one or two people, and that's it. But they're nice to have. You just had to do this. A 3G watch phone. Yes, you really can. Like, yeah, you really can. I'm not making it up. LG makes it. There's probably others. You look like an absolute dork, but how cool. You wouldn't want to wear it on your wrist. You're like, well, in pocket. You need to build it into like a little cool leather wallet, right? Because who's going to wear it? I mean, your 12-year-old will, but are you going to wear it? Some of you probably have one, right? You're like, okay, so you watch Buck Rogers. Micro projector. You think of the phone I showed you earlier. This is actually a little bitty projector that does a really good job. So again, portable travel. I wouldn't want it in my phone, but this I might. And a bunch of companies have little ones. I mean little ones. Dell's got one that's this big. This is the smallest one I'm familiar with. Some of you may be doing the smaller ones. But if you travel a lot and you're giving presentations in small rooms or whatever, and they don't have a setup, then you got it with you. And that's really nice. You can project that way everybody can see. You don't have to turn your little, and if you're like me, you want as little as possible with you because I hate carrying heavy luggage.
Is it wireless?
It's not wireless. It's not wireless. Now, next year, but right now it's not. But it's so, look how tiny it is.
And it's got a great picture. A picture is comfortable to what you can.
It does. Now they hired a basketball player for that picture, so his hands are big. But it does. And I think the distance. Do you know the distance? It's pretty good.
I don't know, but I know we can project onto a screen that size.
It's a little over 1,000 lumens.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice stuff. I think that's, well, you know what? I don't know. VGA I know, but I don't know if they have other ones too. I don't know. They might. It looks like it, doesn't it? It looks like it's I think that's a VGA port right there. It may have USB. It may have USB. Some of them do. You can just plug it in, it'll run like a slideshow. You don't even need a computer. So there's some neat things you can do with that. And that particular one's less than 300. The ones that are a little bigger, the price point drops drastically. What? No watch projectors yet. But I had to put this up. It's real. I mean, it's not mass production. There's only one. But it's cool. It's a car. This guy, Carlos Mendez, invented it. It's a car. I had to put it here. I can't buy it. It's a little car. No? It's the word person's answer to Segway. I didn't put a Segway up. But don't you want one of those? I mean, really. I don't know where you'd use it, but don't you want a Segway? I want a Segway.
They bought a couple at our university. Segway.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm quitting. Where do you work? I want a job.
University of Richmond.
Richmond. They bought Segways.
No, you read my emails on too. So.
Really? Sally, I'm dying here. Put that in your budget. Segway.
Actually, our central IT department purchased them, and the reason is, the true reason is because the help desk manager thinks that they're full of hell.
They are.
The selling one was response time to customers across campus. It's free, so we're not.
So it's a bicycle. But I want to say.
Yeah, right now, but I guess it was time to replace one of the golf carts.
Ah.
The golf carts today will drive over.
Sure.
So instead of that, then somehow they're going to attach some kind of a couch to the front of it. But they were given lessons, well, actually Tuesday before I left to come here.
Oh.
And they were riding around the market.
They're very cool.
dope.
Segways are very cool. And before I forget, let me talk about microphones in the classroom. I'm moving around, obviously, I have a wireless mic. All of our rooms are hooked to wireless mics. If you have a choice, don't ever get one of these. Okay? Don't ever get a lapel mic. Let me tell you why. And I'm being real serious. If you have a choice, you go in technology, don't ever get a lapel mic. I'll tell you why. When you go back and listen to this, not that you would actually go back and listen to it. Let me tell you what's going to happen to the audio. It's going to be like a wave. You know why? Because my head does this. And my head does this. It's a wave. Okay? The problem is, I'm loud, so you'll be able to hear me. Not everybody is as loud as me. Some would say obnoxious. Please don't. But the reason you want an over-the-ear mic, because then when you move, it moves with you. These are great for interviews, past interviews, when you're just like this, yes sir, no sir, blah, 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 blah. Or you're, a news anchor and you're not moving your head. When you're moving your head, you don't want one of these. Okay, bad. So, just a tip. The other ones are much more expensive, but they pay dividends. In fact, the audio quality is consistent. All right, so hold or lock. There are free versions of this. There's lots of them out there. This is just one of many, but it's a great thing to lock down data in particular folders. This particular one is a. Yeah, this will lock folders. I think somewhere I have one that locks passwords too. I put it in here. But this will lock folders. Enter your password, opens up this folder. There's lots of free ones out there. I think this one's a paid one. There's tons of them out there, but they're nice. They're nice to have something. Yeah. Yeah, it encrypts. Yeah, it encrypts. I think they all encrypt these days. They all encrypt to usually DoD standard, whatever. So nice to have them just to keep data secure. MiFi. This is cool. You know what MiFi is? Oh, this is cool. So you get a smartphone, right? You have this data plan. You plug MiFi into it, or you have a card. Anybody here have like a 3G card plugged into their laptop? Yeah. You plug MiFi, and you got your own little Wi-Fi network, all going through your own little. How cool is that? So that way I can piggyback on her card, so I don't have to pay the data plan. The
The
UT
only
picks
problem
it.
is it doesn't work in Europe. It only works in North America right now.
That's a
Or
real
for-
problem for me, for all my European trips.
Customers go
Yeah,
to
darn it,
India.
I'm from China. Can you edit that out, please?
That works with AT&T, like an iPhone?
No, it's Verizon and T-Mobile's coming out with it. AT&T is going to come out next year.
Yeah, they'll all have them, MiFi. Very, very cool. And it's little. See, it's tiny, very tiny. I think that's the Verizon one, I think. But very, very cool. Portable hard drive, if you don't have a portable hard drive, or your faculty doesn't have a portable hard drive, after you string them up, make them go get a portable. They're so cheap, they're so little, it's for everything. I have duplicates of everything. I have my life on the portable hard drive. I also have it backed up, but I have my life on this portable hard drive. And it's nice, because when I'm traveling, I have about, I think mine's half a gig. And when I'm traveling, like here, and I think, well, I needed this for my presentation, I needed that. It's on my hard drive. Everything's on my hard drive. Software that I don't use, it's on my hard drive. For example, I didn't have loaded in this machine Snagit, which we're getting to if you don't know what Snagit is. And I needed to use it, so I just loaded it. It was on my hard drive. I keep copies of everything on my hard drive. And that way it doesn't tie up the internal hard drive, and portable, I can back it up, or I can take it to a friend's if I need to pull something off, whatever I need to do, portable hard drive. They're cheap, cheap, cheap. They're little, and they're great. So get a portable hard drive. Snagit. How many of you don't know what Snagit? Oh, I'm sorry. Question.
And so you get the faculty to buy portable hard drives. How do you get the faculty to use them?
Well, we prefer whips. Different ways to do it. A lot of it's really, it's two things. It's education and habits. You have to get them in the habit of it. And you don't want to say, well, we're going to wait till you have a major disaster and then do it. Explain to them that that's the teaching piece. That here's the benefits of using it. And it's so easy to do. And by using the automation software, it makes it even easier. Automate the backup, things like that. And if they see the benefit of it, hopefully over time they'll catch it. Once they have a major crash, then they'll start backing up. But I'll tell you, in my former law school, we bought flash drives for all of our students. We gave every student a flash drive, and we said, back up your system. Number one, maybe, I don't know, 10% did it, maybe. We'd find flash drives laying around. They'd come to IT and they'd say, class, what are you going to do? Where's your flash drive? I didn't use it. I'm sorry. And so we've got to educate them and show them the benefits. Faculty are just like students. They're worse than students. But it's this thing. I wish I could tell you the magic secret, but if I did that, I wouldn't be working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To that portable thing, there are also portable applications to download as freeware.
Oh, yeah.
There are fully functional software to use.
Oh, sure.
And the benefit of this is that sometimes we have computers which are very locked up to download things on, but you can use your own applications to those portable.
Right. Like U3, or there's another one now, but basically it runs. I'm sorry. Portable apps, and then you can run all your stuff from your heart, and that's really nice. You just plug it in and you're good to go. Yeah, you're exactly right.
The other suggestion is in terms of the use, having faculty in general, how do you convince them to use this stuff? I get faculty calling up saying, I've lost these files, I don't know which is the current file.
Right.
There's a great little free app called WoodSync, which is just perfect for this kind of thing. It synchronizes your My documents folder with an equivalent folder on the
Sure. Right.
portable drive, and everything stays in sync. And
Right. SugarSync will do that. Other ones will do that. And another one we're going to get to is an upgrade app that'll upgrade your, so when you have old apps, because that's something, we have old versions, things like that. Snagit, how many of you don't know what Snagit is? Don't know? How many don't know? Okay, Snagit. It's a screen capture system. It'll capture video, audio, just a screen. There's other things like the same company produces Camtasia, which does actually a better job of video. But for just Snapshots, you can't beat Snagit. Very robust, very powerful, relatively inexpensive. I don't remember the educational pricing, but it's cheap. And you can buy a multi-license, which is really inexpensive. You gotta go with Snagit. I use it all the time to pull stuff off. Because you go to these websites and you right-click to save the picture, and they have that, so you can't do it. Snagit. Or they get to be bright and they use multiple pictures, so they interface, so you have to like get all these pieces. Snagit. So I mean, it's just the greatest thing in the world.
And I know you get Vista, and we won't go there, but,
That's an ugly word.
yeah.
Vista.
The nicest thing about Vista, and, you know, I'm just gonna be reading it, but there is a tool, it's called Snipping Tool, and it's the same thing. It works very much like on a Mac, you can do the keystroke on a Mac, so just capture.
Right.
And I will say that's been very, very nice.
Nice. So if you're the three people that have this stuff, yes. Yeah. Jing. Yeah, I have Jing. Yeah. Jing is relatively new. They still offer Snagit, but it actually is to automate the sharing piece of it, to make it easier to share. And so Jing's also nice. It's also the same company, Camtasia. TechSmith is the company that they call those. So thanks for getting ahead of my presentation. No. But Jing, no, you're right. It's a good little program. Lots of neat little robust apps. And there's other ones out there. I've used Snagit for years, so I'm kind of biased because it's really, really robust. It can do scrolling pages, wide pages. You can do all kinds of things with Snagit. So
Well, do you think like record what you're doing on the screen? So
yes.
if you're doing a how-to
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You can record what you're doing on the screen to do a how-to. Absolutely. Yeah. Other questions, comments, thoughts? I don't have a clue. I should have numbered these. I don't know where I am. I know I'm running out of time. Smart Draw. Anybody familiar with Smart Draw? Very nice program. It has mind mapping. What's that, 5 minutes? Is that
No,
right?
I was going to say you had 45 slides.
I've had 45. Okay, good. We're getting there. I've got to speed up a little bit. Thank you very much. But you'll love it. Media side. Thank you. Smart Draw is very powerful, and the educational discount is 50%, and it's worth every penny. I've used it now for a couple of years, and they have a legal edition, which just gives you a lot of neat things designed specifically for law. But it has a bunch of different pieces, and I could spend an hour just talking about Smart Draw. But you have flow charting, you have mind mapping, you have timelines, all kinds of things you can do in the classroom. You can do to create different documents for your faculty. Very powerful software. I love it. It's called Smart Draw. Great stuff. There's other ones out there, and I've looked at, I think, all of them, and I actually did a deal on Technoids, which I think we all subscribe to. You may have remembered I did a deal and asked me about it, and looking at what everybody said, Smart Draw to me came down, hands down, the winner. Really powerful, really easy to use. That's the other thing. Even though we're sort of up here, you want something that's really easy. It's easy to use, and that's really important for faculty. Easy to use. Okay, I'll just move on. If you're not, and I'm going to talk philosophy for a minute here. To me, the most critical thing that law schools do poorly is student engagement. The reason for that varies. But one of the reasons is size of class, techniques professors use, or you have the students that are just introverts. Okay, they're out there. We've got to engage our students. There's lots of engagement systems out there. This is the one that we use. I've used a few. I'm not saying it's the best, but I like it. It's very powerful. It's Turning Technology. It's called Turning Point. What we're going to use at the Duncan School of Law is actually, because everybody's going to have a laptop, we're going to use the piece that's web-based. It's very powerful stuff. You can use with Turning Point, with the PowerPoint, or anything. Anything. You can just poll and ask questions. The reporting tools built in, the report generation, very, very powerful. It's very easy to use. It's basically foolproof, bless you. If you can make a PowerPoint slide, you can use this software.
It's out.
It's out. It's out. The iPhone app is out. They have a BlackBerry app. They have, it's really powerful stuff. And I will also tell you this, and I get no reimbursement from the company, but let me tell you, this is important to me. because I'm like, super geek. I'm always pushing the envelope. And I call their help
Are you
desk.
glad you don't work for them?
Yeah. You are. No, but I call their help desk, and I get a human being. How cool is that? And if they can't figure it out, they figure it out and they call me back. I mean, it's great. Their customer support is tremendous. And I did have problems with customer support one time. Talked to the president. Let me tell you what, that was resolved. They care about customer support. It's man.
Do you use it as an anonymous device, or do you actually track the kids?
We track the kids.
You do?
Absolutely. We track the kids because we also take attendance with it.
Okay.
We track the kids. But let me tell you why. If you use it as anonymous, you lose a huge piece. Because by being able to run reports and see how Susie Jones did, okay, then I can build in an academic support model. I can bring my faculty together at 4 weeks and figure out who's doing poorly at what. My faculty have to use this every day. It's not an option.
So, I'm just trying to run this through my head. The fee is beyond question. It's a lot of, logistically, it's a lot. You got to carry all those clickers and hand them out, fill them all up. So, do you just give your students one of those?
You have different options. The way we do it, it's web-based. So what happens is they go to rwpoll.com. I generate a 7-digit code. They type in the code. We're connected. That's it. It pops up on their computer. From my end, I go to a website. It's all tied together. But there's another version. There's a version where you can give them this little white thing, and there's other kinds of there's digital displays and all kinds of versions. I like that one. I used to use that one because you can run it over with a truck and it won't break. But you just give them that. Yeah, you also use that. And the nice thing is, let's say that budget's an issue. The bookstore can sell them. And they're, you can get them relatively cheap. Now, I don't know what these cost now, but they've come way down. I think they're maybe $30.
They're, you can buy them for $28 at the bookstore, usually for about $10.
Okay, so $38. It's one of the required pieces. All the instructor needs, if you go with that, is this thing right here. This thing right here, that's a receiver. $100. That's it. That's it.
At Charleston, just so you know, we ended up buying them for our students, so it was part of our computer piece for the first year. We didn't think they'd last 2 or 3 years, but really, on the 3rd year, those were still the same model, same thing. We gave the students, turned them back in. We got a lot of screaming and yelling about that, and we just gave them to the next year. So it was a fairly cheap sort of piece of process if you want to go that way. But the only way this is going to work, and I'll tell you right out here, is one, you got to get faculty to use it.
Right.
And you got to make it across the board. If you don't make it across the board, then every dean's meeting we held at Charleston, we'd have students putting their hands up saying, I love this, the greatest thing, I love the class they use it, why aren't everybody else using it?
Right.
And of course, who never showed up at those meetings? The faculty.
So, but that's why we're at an advantage. We can do a top-down approach because we're starting the school from scratch. But if you get everybody to buy into it, and I got to tell you, I had a faculty member back at Charleston who he's been teaching at least 30, 35 years, right? Very much a senior faculty member, uses it and loves it. He was not a technology guy at all, but now he does his own. I mean,
So still have to walk them in and make sure it runs.
well, but I mean, there's some pieces, but it's really easy to use, and their customer support. The other thing that's nice, their customer support runs ridiculous hours. It's like 7 o'clock West Coast to 9 o'clock East Coast, something like that. Really long hours. So if you're in the classroom, wherever you are, odds are you can pick up the phone, call them. You're going to get somebody on the phone to walk you through a problem. Very nice to do. We only got 5 minutes left. If they're not using something, I've used about 8. They're crazy. If you're walking over that machine, now I know. Now let me say this too. There are the podium hookers. No, there are. That's okay. And there are people who do a really good job at this. I guess you would need a wireless remote. I can't. That's not me. It's not my style. But there are those people. I'm not knocking the style. In that case, you probably wouldn't need one. But I move around, and so I have to have one of these. They all have different feature sets. They all do different things. Some are good, some are bad. But let me just give you one tip. If you get these, there's one thing that it must have. If it has nothing else, forward and back would be nice. But if it does, an on-off switch. They don't all have it. And that means it goes into the bag, and what happens? The battery's dead. So it's got to have an on-off switch, and then you've got to train them to turn it on. And you got to train them to turn it on. I had this the other day. We had some teachers coming in using our facility because we're not open yet. So it was a teaching. They said, wireless device do? Switch has to be on. I didn't say that. But you know, so get an on-off switch and keep the extra battery just in case. Get a wireless one. Webcam. Everybody should have a webcam. Why? Because you can communicate with students this way. And it makes your life easier. It really does. I communicated with a student over webcam over the summer. He was in one of my writing classes. And we had to go through his paper. So we finished the class. We still had to work on the paper the way it worked with that particular class. He went to Scotland. He went overseas from Scotland. So what did we do? We used Microsoft Messenger, webcam. We could see each other. We could work on the paper together. It worked great. Get a webcam. All your faculty should have either built-in computers or something else. You know, digitized pen. I just think they're kind of neat. They're kind of cool. If you are a writer, what better way to do it? There's lots of them out there now. They kind of ebbed and flowed. I will tell you. They were really big, and Logitech came out, and then they died, and everybody said they were a waste, and now they're coming back. I don't know if they're here to stay or not, but they are cool. If you are a person that likes to take notes by hand, I don't because I can't even read my own writing. That's how bad it is. But if you do, and you have good penmanship, or we say penpersonship, if you have good penpersonship, then you want to digitize it, and that's a cool way to do it. So, they have different ones out there. Most of them, you don't have to, they're very self-contained, very portable programs. So, we'll digitize them. Okay, I put a book in here. Nita publishes this book. I recommend this book. PowerPoint, now this is an old one. I don't know if they're going to update it or not, but this is what they got out there now. PowerPoint 2003 for professors. It's a little paperback, spiral-bound book. It says things like, don't use 12-point type on your slide. Don't put a statue with 300 words on a slide. You know, the stupid things that people do. It says don't do them. Don't put a slide up and read every word on the slide that you just put in front of your students that they now have on their computers, and they can read just as well as you can. I mean, it tells them not to do those kinds of things. I know it's a book. It's not a gadget. Just give me one little...
It's not that expensive.
Yeah.
Buy them, throw them, give them to every faculty member. If you do anything on PowerPoint or with the faculty or something like that, just buy the book, just hand them out. And it's surprising the ones that come back to you and say thank you for using it. You never know who's going to.
Yeah.
I think I bought like a lot of them for like $20-some a piece.
It's not really expensive.
It's not. It's not. It's worth having.
It's worth the goodwill.
It is. It really is, because it's an easy read. It's got lots of free pictures, you know, and so it's an easy read, and it can hopefully break some of these habits. I go nuts. I know I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. I go nuts with these bad habits. You know, I get sick of. I like the Steve Jobs method. I call it the Steve Jobs method of PowerPoint. You know what that is? It's an image and a word. If you've ever seen a Jobs presentation, it's an image and a word. Okay, that's how you get a message across. And we put these horrific statues up there. Are we talking about the whole statue at once? No. We're talking about one word. Then put the word up there. They can read the statue. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay. SlideShare. This was new to me. I don't know how long it's been around. This is very cool. You can upload slideshows, and you can put whatever restrictions on it you want. You can let people download it. You can let people just look at it. You can go up there and see very cool slideshows. You can also go up there and see very bad slideshows. Neat little site, SlideShare. Very, very cool. It's free. Very, very free. I didn't put the free sign, but it's free. Sorry, left free sign. SlideShare. SlideRocket. SlideRocket is a web-based presentation creation and presentation software. Very nice. It's not free. It's not real expensive. But if you want to just forget PowerPoint, you want to build it on the web and then show it to the web, very, very cool. SlideRocket. Really nice transitions, really powerful software. It's really nice. I'm really impressed. They put a lot of work into it. Really easy to use. It'll do all kinds of statistical analysis for people to look at. It's really, really cool. Swish Max. Any Swish people in here? Anybody know what Swish is? Okay. Flash. I hate these kind of presentations that I'm showing you. I hate them. They're just flat. I don't use them in classroom. I use Flash animation all the time, but I cannot write Flash. So I use Swish. Swish is Flash for dummies. It's very easy to use. It's got a GUI interface. It's you can move things. It's very easy to use. And I create presentations all the time with Swish Maps. And then you put them in your PowerPoint. And they're cool, they're exciting. You can use it for lots of things, but that's what I use it for. They're cool, they're exciting, you're good to go. Okay, I gotta move on.
They have an education.
Huh?
They have an education.
Yeah, they have a really good education rank. Okay, will I get shot if I go over, or should I just stop? Keep going. And you guys, you enjoying this? Cool. All right, tell them that you liked it. And you're not on my mom, so it's cool. Okay, Flash added. This is something that's also, what PowerPoint does really poorly is once you create a Flash, how do you get into your PowerPoint? There's no easy way to do it. You can do it, but it's hard. Here's an easy way. There's two. There's probably more than two. There's two that I use. One is Snagit. If you load Snagit, it has dummies. It lets you create really cool PowerPoints very easily. You pick a theme, it does it all for you. Caveat, unless it's changed, it does not work with Turning Point. So now you could run Turning Point separate. They let you do that. They have an overlay. It doesn't work with a Turning Point. But if you're not using Turning Point, you need faculty to just, you've got to jazz up their presentations. They're so bad. Ovation. Yes, sir.
Does it create PPT files?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it's really, really slick. Yeah, it does. Okay. This is what I need for here. I got 1,000 things to charge, and I'm lucky if I can find one plug in the hotel. Okay. You found one, right? And I have to well, is this one charged? I'll switch this one. Charge Pod. They have this company has all kinds of stuff. You have one plug, you plug everything into it, and you're good to go. Charge Pod. It's great for traveling. I'm going to buy one. Huh?
Start a fire.
Yeah. We won't worry about whether or not you plug two things in. But no, it's really nice because then you can charge everything at once. Because it really is kind of a drag to go. I mean, all right. Had to do it. You have one? All right, Sally's got one. Does it work?
You have to make sure you turn it off and on. I don't want my cat walking over us.
Yeah, well. I just had to do it. It's only been around about 100 years, but I had to do it. This is nice. It's if you've ever seen the gyro mice, okay, this is sort of, I guess, the most recent iteration. Logitech puts this out. It's an air mouse. And it's got all kinds of cool stuff. You flip your wrist, you can change the volume control, all kinds of stuff with an air mouse. So it's sort of like the super